Today, I want to talk about spiritual protection, what it is, how to know if you have it, and if you don't have it, how to obtain it or how to use it in the proper way. So, spiritual protection, what is it? It shows up as a defense mechanism, or a better way to say it is setting healthy boundaries and having the ability to enforce the boundaries that you have set. So there's an element of knowing your self-worth. Okay, so what do I mean? As we interact with people, we observe the things that people do, the actions they take, the actions they don't take, the decisions they make, the things that they choose to let into their life, or the things that they don't allow access to them and their life. You know, we observe the people around us, what they are doing, how they are living, the choices they're making. And as you observe people, you will be able to tell who is spiritually protected and who is not. All right, and just bear with me here because I'm going somewhere. If there are people who know they don't want to partake in an activity, or if they know they don't want to interact in something, or if they know they want to say no to something, but they say yes, this person is not spiritually protected. All this means is that they do not follow their own gut instinct. They are not able to listen to the cues of their body. They are not able to uphold the protection barrier that they know deep down they need. For example, if someone is in a situation that they know is unhealthy for them, but they can't take the action to remove themselves from the unhealthy situation, this person is not spiritually protected. Spiritually protected simply means a person is able to enforce the action needed, or they are able to verbally say or voice whatever they need to say or voice to effectively block or remove something from their life that is not supposed to be there, that is not healthy for them, that does not bring on a positive feeling for them in their own right. So as individuals, what's right for you may not be right for me, and what's right for me may not be right for you. So there are no hard and fast lists of rules that's going to apply to everyone. Each person knows deep down what is helpful for them and what is not, what they should entertain and what they shouldn't, right? Also with this, what you attract is not what you are. It's what you entertain, what you allow in, what you give access to. That's what you are. Because by entertaining it, by interacting with it, you are saying, this is a mirror of me. But those who are spiritually protected, if something comes into their vicinity, or if something presents itself into their vicinity, into your reality, and you are face to face with it, and it doesn't resonate, and you are able to feel that feeling, the energy that says, there's something here that's not right. There's something here. It does not resonate with my spirit. And you're able to feel that and then take the action necessary to either limit that thing or that person's access to you, or you can completely deny it and restrict it from accessing you. That person is spiritually protected because they are able to both feel what they feel and take the necessary steps, the action they need to remove themselves from this thing. It is not the mirror that needs to leave, right? So if something comes into your vicinity and it doesn't resonate, it is not that person's responsibility to remove itself from you, the individual. It is your responsibility to decide whether or not you want to continue to interact with it or not. Whatever you entertain, interact with, or you allow in is a mirror. And this could be a good mirror. It can be a not so good mirror. It depends. But by allowing it in, you agree. This is a agreement you're making that this thing has access to me and I give it permission to affect me the same way that it affects itself. So if you are observing a person's life and you see they don't make the best decisions and you see that they continuously remain in patterns that even sometimes they will tell you they know is unhealthy, but they don't have the willpower to extract themselves from the situation or remove themselves from the unhealthy thing, this person is not spiritually protected. Spiritual protection does not come from the outside. Spiritual protection comes from within each individual. Your own ability to either allow something in or deny it access. That's what spiritual protection is. Okay? And that's where I was going. Spiritual protection is not, let me call on my guide and please protect me. Even though that is one part of it. But they need your help too. You have to be able to discern what is good for you and what is not good for you. What is helpful for you and what is not. That's what spiritual protection is. Your spirit will tell you. It will send you a signal. Something's not right here. Does that mean you run away from everything that you feel is not right? No, it does not. By knowing what things should be allowed access or little access or no access, there's levels to it. So certain things should just be temporary. Certain things should be not at all. Certain things should be allowed access. Your spirit will tell you. So what you don't want to do is block everything, because then you might miss opportunities. You have to be able to understand that you are getting a message, you're receiving a message as you go through life in each present moment, whether or not you should engage or whether you should disengage, or if you should just engage a little or more than a little, etc. There is no hard and fast rules. Again, it all depends on the individual. This is why it's so important to be in touch with who you are. This is why an outside person can never be. It can never be the way you get your answers all the time. You have to be able to go within, understand the cues, the language between you and your body, you and your spirit. Understand when you are receiving a message and knowing how to apply the message in your life. It's one thing to hear a message. It's another thing to actually apply it. And most people are having problems with the action part. I mean, there are others who are not knowing what a message is and how to distinguish the difference between an intuitive nudge or an intuitive message. And that's another topic for another video. But knowing how to discern what to allow in and what not to allow in, that's what your spiritual protection is. Your ability to say no to things that you want to say no to. Your ability to have the strength to communicate what needs to be communicated to whoever it needs to be communicated to. This is basically the right use of will. Knowing how to use and apply your willpower. This requires strength. Strength comes from within. It requires confidence. It requires humility. It requires self-love. And you need to know your worth. To effectively apply these things, you have to understand what you deserve, and you have to know that you deserve it and that it is yours. But if you are so disconnected from yourself that any answers you're looking for, any guidance always has to come from the outside, you're going to experience some imbalance, okay? And this is where these whole karmic relationships come in. A karmic relationship comes in to help you. It is a tool to help you. When it comes in, there's going to be a strong, passionate type of chemistry between you and the other person. And karmic relationships are not only romantic relationships, because you can have karmic family members, friends, co-workers, etc. But when a karmic relationship comes in, there's going to be an immediate type of connection, a lot of things that just resonate. And then it goes through a period of hot and cold, ups and downs. It's basically can feel like an emotional roller coaster, but there's a pattern that doesn't leave the relationship. That's what makes it karmic. When you know the reflection you see, you don't like it, or the reflection you see is not helpful for your growth, yet you still return to the reflection. These connections are helpers. They are one of the most helpful connections to help someone go through the evolution process. But if you have this type of connection and no one is able to remove themselves from it, that's when it becomes toxic. It can even become abusive, either emotionally, even physically. And most of the time, the people who engage in these type of connections for years on end, they're trauma bonding. And they feel that because the person in the connection with them have gone through similar experiences, like upbringing, or they have like a similar pattern, their parents treated them the same way, or they had certain kind of connections with people from their past, and they resonate so much from all the trauma that they feel like, oh my gosh, this is a person that I'm meant to be with because we have so much similarities and we relate on so much areas. But these are the trauma bonds. And this is why it's unhealthy, because neither person, or at least one of the people, does not have the spiritual protection. They are not strong enough, or they don't have the willpower. And it's also low self-worth. I mean, there's so much here. This is why many people are in karmic situations. No spiritual protection. And these people, they are hurt. Those of you going through this, you're dealing with some type of hurt, some type of pain. Someone hurt you. And it's easier for you to go through life blaming this person, feeling like a victim, feeling like you were wronged, and most likely you were. But you never get past that part. You never get past the blaming. It's like weaponizing victimization, using it as a weapon. I was victimized. And then as those who never heal from their pain continue to engage with other people, those hurt people hurt people. So it's like an ongoing chain of events that gets passed down, and you spread your hurt to the next person, and the person who came in contact with you walks away with the pain that you had. And this is that ongoing cycle of unhealthy patterns. It starts with those who are not doing the work on themselves. It starts with those who are not going within. It starts with those who don't realize that the person who hurt them is a reflection of them. And that person is trying to show them the parts within them that need healing. They're reflecting to you the parts within you that needs healing. So if the person can never go from blame to taking some type of accountability of the role they played in the unhealthy connection. And I'm not talking about children that go through these traumas. I'm talking about when a person becomes an adult and is aware of the trauma, of the pain, that self-work is needed. That's who I'm referring to. So I'm not referring to young children who are in these type of situations. I'm speaking specifically to those who have gone through things and have grown up to be young adults or adults and is now in the position to change their life by changing the decisions they're making and the patterns that they're stuck in, especially when they realize that they are unhealthy for them. Because if someone's being unhealthy towards you, or if someone's being toxic towards you, and you choose to stay in that, your role was, I accept this treatment. So at this point now you're choosing to be a victim. And I'm not trying to be insensitive. I know what I'm saying, and I understand why I'm saying it this way. So I'm speaking to a particular group, those who are still dealing with their pain and they have not been able to heal from that, and they're not ready to heal from that. This is probably not your message, okay? Because these are going to be the red flags. Someone who's still in victim mode, someone who still wants to blame people from 10 years ago, from 5 years ago, from whatever years ago. And they can't see that They played a role in the situation by allowing the things to continue. And yes, there's going to be reasons, okay? I wasn't in a position to leave. It's too hard to leave. I don't have the money. Like, there's going to be these 3D reasons why people will say, I needed to stay. And that's fine. Everyone needs to do things and heal and take the action on their time. Now, this message is for those who are in the position to leave and choose to stay. The role you play in it is that you're ignoring your spirit. You're not in touch with your higher self. You don't know yourself. You don't understand the cues that come from within and what it means. You haven't taken time enough to learn yourself. And most of the times, these are people who are taking advice from the world, social media, TikTok, all of this stuff, and taking it as truth and not understanding that some of these things just keep you in the pain, keeps you in the cycle of pain and feeling hurt and feeling wronged and never able to get beyond that stage. So when you get beyond that stage, you will now have the strength to say no to those things that you should say no to reject or deny access to those things that you should reject and deny access to. And people will show you their pain and their hurt. These things they can't be hidden. Energy doesn't lie. People will tell you, they will show you. And you can see this by the way they speak, the things they say. Oh, it's because of this person. Oh, I went through this when I was younger. And because my mom did this, or because my ex did that, or because the system is like this, or because it's always an external something. When the language changes to more of, I saw it, but I ignored it. I'm learning to make better choices. I'm now being selective with what I allow in. You see how this is more empowering because it puts you in the position to take action that can change your situation versus giving the external world the power. Oh, it's this person, it's that system, it's this because I went through this. That is not knowing your power. That is a powerless place to be. That woe is me energy. Poor me, I went through this. Poor me, I can never get good luck. Why does this happen to me? Why do I keep attracting the same thing? That's the lingo where you know you're going to be dealing with somebody who's they're about to reflect to you some low self-worth issues because that person is powerless and they don't understand that they can change their situation by simply making different choices. And when you start interacting with people who are more on the I'm now careful with who I let in, I no longer engage in this, I no longer allow this to happen to me anymore. I can see when something is not good for me. I'm making better choices. I see the role I played in that toxic situation that I was in. I now understand why things happened the way that it happened. That's a more empowered individual. This is somebody who is now taking accountability, taking the necessary steps to change their life. This is someone who is now spiritually protected because they are now in touch with their spirit, and they can now take the actions that they need to take. This is development, right? This is what development looks like. You are now growing, maturing more. Your emotional intelligence is there to understand that you have the power to change your situation by simply changing your perspective. So if something is reflected to you that you don't like or that you don't resonate with, or that you don't think will serve your highest purpose, right? Because sometimes you will see a reflection you don't like, but you're still meant to engage. This is why discernment is important, okay? But if something is reflected and you know whatever this is that's reflected it cannot bring anything positive into your life, and you continue to go back to this mirror that reflects something you know wouldn't help you, you are allowing this thing to seep through you and affect you. And whatever is affecting that person or that thing will affect you because you just gave it access. So if you don't have the right use of your willpower to be able to say, I don't want to engage here, and then take the necessary step to remove yourself from it, you'll find that you continue toxic patterns. And many of the toxic patterns are, oh, I'm just a caring person and I want to help. And this is actually one of the biggest ones that I see. People who engage because, oh, I'm just a caring person. This is just who I am. And even though they're being depleted, even though there's no reciprocity, even though the person realizes how much it is draining them, that's a toxic trait. This is enabling a person to take advantage, to create an imbalance, basically. And when you all are able to see the reflection and know that it's not something you should engage in and take the proper steps, you will realize you walked into a world where there is no karma. The karmic situations, or you deal with karma when there is something you know can't help you or is not good for you and you still engage. That is a karmic type of experience or path. But those of you, when you go to the mirror or you engage with something and what's being reflected back to you, if you do not realize that that reflection or that person you're engaging with is a part of you, is a mirror to you, if you don't have the clarity or the realization to understand that that is you, the interaction with this thing will be karmic. But for those of you who are on the journey, and when you see a reflection or when you engage with something and you know that it's a reflection, if you can understand that everything that comes in front of you is some type of reflection, you will no longer experience karma because you understand that what you're looking at is simply yourself. And these are our teachers. These are our teachers. So if you understand that everything that you come in contact with is an opportunity to balance yourself, there is no karma. because you will have the understanding that you just need to treat these things the way you want to be treated, because they are you and you are them. And those are the beautiful interactions. Those are the beautiful connections. But when you're in situations where you feel like the thing you're interacting with is separate from you, that's the karmic world. You still dealing with karma. You're still experiencing karmic situations because of the inability to understand that the energy that came to you is teaching you something about yourself. And you have the choice to either engage or not. There are some reflections we want to engage with, and there are some we don't. And if you don't know how to walk away from something that is obviously unhealthy for you, you don't have spiritual protection, or you choose not to use it. Sometimes you have it and you choose not to use it. And or you don't have the enlightenment to understand what's actually happening. And you live in a world of blame, and you live in a world where it's always something else's fault. And that's usually a person who's not on the journey of knowing themselves, of self-discovery. And that's why we're here. So I implore you all to know thyself. Go within. It's a beautiful journey. Be patient with yourself. Be kind to yourself. Treat yourself the way you want to be treated by others. So if you know something is unhealthy for you, when you engage with someone and they treat you in an unhealthy way, understand they're just mirroring you. Okay? So if you choose to engage in unhealthy patterns and you keep attracting unhealthy things, you need to have a conversation with yourself. So I'm actually going to leave it there because I think the message has been relayed. Understand what spiritual protection is. And I mean, it's just protection, really. It really is just protection. It doesn't even have to be spiritual protection. It's just protection. And those who are on the journey of self-love, you'll understand. You'll know. You'll know. You'll know when something is reflected to you that is not of love. And you'll be able to discern whether or not you should continue to engage. Okay? All right, so I'll leave it there. Enjoy the rest of your day.